Hey guys, what's up? Jordan Arell here, making my daily video on circumcision. And I noticed something when talking with a guy today, an intact man, as I was Ubering. I realized I knew that he was intact, that he was uncircumcised, as he says, before he told me. And I wondered how I knew that. And when I thought about it, I realized it's how he felt. He felt just more in his body. He felt more present. He felt like just natural, just the way he was supposed to be. With circumcised men, it bothers me because it feels like there's something wrong. Like they know something's wrong, like deep down inside of them. There's something wrong with the world, there's something wrong with reality, and they need to escape, they need to get away. There's something painful about life. And I think it's this deep-seated lesson that you learn as, I'm going to turn the light on, the deep lesson that you learn when you're born and you have this extreme trauma of having your penis ripped apart, ripped to shreds. There's almost nothing in the world more painful than that, especially when you're a newborn child. And so you can tell there's just a difference in people who have had that done to them versus people who haven't. I think it's also has to do with the fact that people who are intact have so much more sensitivity. They have so much more ability to feel. They have so much more ability to notice all these subtle sensations during sex and during self-pleasure. And because of that, they've just become different people. It really affects who you are on a very, very deep level. How much pleasure you can feel. As well as, again, how willing you are to feel emotions because of that trauma. And I find that intact men are generally much more willing to feel, to be present, to go with the flow, sort of. And circumcised men often seem to sort of intellectually overcompensate, to be in their heads a lot, to be trying to find the solution to the problem intellectually. And so another reason that I think this is actually really important is because I noticed that with circumcised men, there's this compulsion to repeat. They have this trauma of circumcision, and they feel the need to say, well, there's this thing done to me, don't I have to do it to my son then? And it's like, it's made me who I am in a way. This formed me, this affected me. I don't know exactly how, but it must have been for a good reason. And if it was done to me, then I have to do it to my son. And it's nonsensical, really. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. But we see the exact same thing in abuse victims, in people who have experienced corporal punishment, as they call it, because it's punishment. It's not abuse. It's done for a reason, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that I was beat, because otherwise I wouldn't have learned that lesson. I wouldn't have been who I am. And never mind that these people who experience corporal punishment, experienced physical abuse, have higher rates of drug addiction and more relationship problems and more problems with depression and anxiety and all these problems in their life. And that's what the studies show. But they're sure that for them it was good, and that they're going to do it to their son or their daughter. And in the same way, people who have been circumcised, whether it's a male or female, feel it must have been good. It must have been for a reason. They're happy, they feel good. And even if that's sort of a forced happiness, like not wanting to think about maybe it could have been better, maybe it could have been different in some way. But no, it's good. It's like trying to reassure yourself in a way by doing it again. And it's this repetition compulsion. It's very well understood as a phenomena of abuse in psychology, that if you're abused, you tend to repeat that abuse. It just comes very naturally. And we see the exact same thing with circumcision. And I think that it all fits together in that it forms who you are in this way, and on a deep level you know something's wrong, but you want to cover that up. You don't want to feel that. And so you continue doing the same thing that was done to you because it was okay. And in doing that, it's another way of telling yourself, yeah, it was okay. It's all right. It happened to me. I'm going to do it again to my son because it's all good. And I don't want to think about it, and I just want to do it, and then not have to worry about it anymore, because it's passing on. It's passing on that trauma, repeating it so that you don't have to yourself process it. So here the solution is very simple. It's finding that place in yourself. I made a video that was kind of about this today. Finding that core wound and treating it, treating that trauma. The solution also, of course, lies in not doing it, just not letting yourself do that trauma to another person, not circumcising your son, not cutting into the flesh of his genitals. It's wrong. But we tend to perpetuate those traumas then in other ways if we don't heal it in ourselves. That rage, that anger, that depression comes out, and we can repress that, we can try to express it, we can try to do a lot of different things with it. They can all be helpful at times. But ultimately, healing is, in my opinion, the only way to really, really resolve that deep wound and to integrate the lessons from it, the growth that you can ultimately gain. I don't think you can ever be exactly the same as you would have been had you never been traumatized. But what you can be is better in a way. You can take that deep inability to feel emotions and learn to consciously feel emotions, rather than just kind of naturally and unconsciously and automatically being naturally how you would have been. You can learn to do it in a very deliberate way that actually has more nuance, more deliberateness to it. And it's powerful. It's actually really, really a great way to grow, is to go through some really hard events in your life and then to come out the other side and say, okay, I was hurt in a really bad way. How can I learn something from this? How can I find that wound in myself and love that part of myself and see the lessons that I've learned from it and capitalize on those even more? How can I face the hardships and heal those, and ultimately find a way to move forward and to stop that trauma from happening in the future, and to integrate those lessons so that we don't have to keep on going through this trauma to learn those lessons. So, yeah. I think that's it for today, guys. And as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your comments. It's so awesome to have this kind of community of people that I get to talk to. You guys are all fantastic. So, love you. Peace out for today. Talk to you again tomorrow.